My name is Grant Andrew. Today I want to talk to you about adversity. How do you handle adversity in business, in life, in relationships? Really have three ideas that I want to convey to you. Number one, it's really important when you're in the midst of adversity. And for some reason, I seem to have had a lot of adversity in my life. Some people would say that that seems self-inflicted. Of course, I bear no resemblance to that statement. But regardless, I think it's really important when you're in the middle of adversity to not worry about where the adversity originated from. Some people get so fixated on this aspect of adversity, right? They're just completely focused on like, how did this come to me? Who did this to me? Why am I in the middle of this? Whose fault is this? I think it's important to understand that adversity is a quality of life. It's here. It's in the environment. Let me tell you a story. When I was about 13, 14 years old, we were out on a lake one day and we had two boats with us. We had a motorboat and we had a canoe. And when we got ready to leave the little beach that we were at, a couple of guys loaded up the canoe and they started to paddle it back to the put-in, the dock. And so as they paddled that, we loaded up the powerboat and with all of our stuff and a bunch of people, and we headed off in the same direction that they had gone. And the guy who was at the controls that day decided it would be a fun joke to go by them kind of slowly and just, give them a little scare. Except that when you take a boat and you go too slowly, it makes a huge wake. And these boys were, they were not perpendicular to the wave as they should have been. They were actually parallel with it. And so in that case, it was really, really clear to like 15 people all at the same time exactly where the adversity had originated from and where it went. But here's the thing. When you're in the water, being mad does not help anything. What they needed to do at that moment was figure out where their stuff was, gather as much of it as they could as quickly as possible before it sunk to the bottom, flip the boat back over, and get back on their way. And, you might be on a lake and you might see this big steamer has just come by and flipped you over. And you also can be on a lake and realize that there are just waves from boats and waves coming back from the shore and waves from the wind. And at some level, you start to understand that one of the characteristics of being on the water is that there are waves. And life, and adversity in life, is like waves on the water. And there is just no way that you're going to ever run a business or have a relationship that lasts or go through any sort of really meaningful experiences without facing some adversity. So the first point that I just want to make is adversity is in the environment. I really work hard when I'm in these spots to spend as little time as possible focused on the source of the adversity and really get to, my focus is, how do I make it through the adversity? How do I transcend this? So that's point number one. Point number two is this. You're going to make it through this. You are going to outlive this adversity. We're talking about money, relationships, housing, bills, all kinds of things like that. Those are actually not you. And one of the problems that we have is we get our identity wrapped up in a bunch of stuff. I live in this particular place and I have these kinds of possessions and I'm with this person, and all of those things are actually not you. And it's actually those that adversity really targets. And so if you'll release yourself from the need for things to be exactly as they are, if you'll release yourself from the need for there to be no change as a result of this adversity, in fact, reflect on this. You're smarter, wiser, more skilled. There may be some changes, and you may regrow something that's even better, that's even cooler, that's even more interesting. And that really leads me to my third point, which is this. Adversity is really opportunity. When I worked in the corporate world, we used to say that you didn't have an opportunity to really use the skills that you developed in a role or in a job until you changed to the next job. Because that was really the point at which you started to see opportunities to apply yourself in a new team, in a new setting, in a new role, and use these skills that you had picked up along the way. And so if you're in a period of significant adversity, look at that change as opportunity to apply the wiser, stronger, lessons learned version of yourself that hasn't really gotten to see the sun yet. This is a great opportunity for you to step up to this challenge and bring everything you've got and figure out, how do you stay detached from the source of the adversity? How do you recognize that things may change, but you will go on? And how do you apply the lessons that you've learned in your whole life, and most specifically in in the period before this adversity? What got you here? How do you work through it? What do you think about? And how do you come out the other side of this with a really grounded sense of what this next step looks like? How do you not let this adversity blow you up? You just put your stuff back in the boat, flip the boat back over, put your stuff back in the boat, and start paddling. And be grateful that there is still strength in your limbs, that there is still breath in your lungs, and there is still passion in your heart. There is more to this life than what adversity can take. So whatever you're facing today, I just want to challenge you to hang on through that. Remember those three pieces. And let's create something beautiful on the other side.